Before we start, this is going to be a long video, so I have split it out as well as released the full-length video. The timeline is what I know to be correct from research done in the Gaia forums, the zOMG and Gaia wikis, and talking to users who were on the site at the time. If I am incorrect about something, please let me know in the comments down below. You can't talk about Gaia without talking about zOMG. zOMG is a Flash-based MMO produced by Gaia Online that made a huge splash in the late 2000s. While still alive in 2026, there are less than 1,000 people playing this game after a huge initial success in 2008. Join me as I discover what happened to zOMG, as well as the dev team who made it from the release to death to revival. Later, we'll hear from some of the actual users of zOMG about their experiences, improvements, issues, and what they'd like to see added to the game if it was revived and expanded. History. Beginning development in 2005, zOMG released to all of Gaia Online on November 6, 2008, to over 50,000 users. Gaia previewed some of the storyline via a manga released in October of 2008. Introducing characters like Nikolai and Blaze, which intertwined with a previous manga on the site. Some characters in-game continued making appearances in other mangas as well. Described by Gaia as an offbeat, browser-based MMO and an epic adventure MMO which brings anime to life, zOMG's start was tremendous. So, what happened? Well, with the turn of the century and new CEO management teams taking over, excitement for the site as a whole crashed, along with their user base. As for zOMG, the community was distrustful of Gaia's HQ after having promises broken regarding two different in-game areas, code generators being given out like candy, and then the game's devs either left or were pushed out of Gaia HQ altogether. Let's take a closer look at what happened to zOMG and the team who developed it. In 2009, the senior producer and director on the original dev team, Kickster, left Gaia. His goodbye post stated that zOMG is something of a miracle. Almost no one on this team had ever made a game before, and no one at all had ever made a true MMO in a non-downloadable Flash environment before. I don't know of any MMO ever created to specifically integrate into an already existing social community. Now that 98% of the work is done, this leaves me in something of a bind. I built big projects, but Gaia already has a big world of its own now, and doesn't need another one. That means it's time for me to move on. Kickster's last post was in 2014 in a best memory contest, stating, "I'm so happy to have been associated with this game, and I've never had as much fun working on any game as I did working with you all on zOMG." Kickster has since moved on to Playable Worlds. In April of 2010, dev team member Mapdoc posted the zOMG behind the scenes compilation in the forums with multiple different posts regarding environments, props, and overall creation of the game. The story was added to until 2014. Mapdoc passed away in November of 2025. In October of 2010, Flagio, a programming team member who had worked at Gaia the longest out of all the other zOMG devs at the time, left, with JK, the lead art director's post regarding this, saying, "From the beginning, he was an integral part of the zOMG team. Without his contribution, zOMG would not have been possible. Almost everything Flash-related went through and was designed by him. Personally, he was one of the most talented programmers that I've ever worked with." Flagio's last post was in response to this, saying, "The last 4 years were the best of my life, and I will miss it a lot. Life goes on, and I need to move on to a new venture." I was unable to find further information on where Flagio went after Gaia. In 2012, Flash Player had huge vulnerabilities that were only getting patched if you manually downloaded them onto your computer. In March of 2013, Gaia got a new CEO and COO. The CEO, Gary Schofield, called Goldemore by the user base for his implementation of the gold generators that would eventually be the downfall of Gaia's entire economy, as well as banning people who said his name, took over, along with Jason Loya, COO. Loya was hated by most of the Gaia community for a presentation he did on gamification, which used the gold generators they implemented as an example and compared the users of Gaia to lab rats. This caused a huge outrage in Gaia's forums, and many people left during this time or were banned. Pro tip: if you're going to silently experiment on a group of humans, maybe don't announce that you're doing that. And if you do happen to announce that you're doing it, you should be okay with that group being mad and using your name in their anger. In April of 2013, JK, the art director, posted his goodbye to the community. His goodbye said, "Out of all the places I've ever worked at, Gaia really was my favorite one. I don't regret my time at Gaia. It didn't quite turn out the way I wanted or expected it to, but I wouldn't trade the experience I've had for anything." JK created dev meets for the zOMG community, which allowed players to talk to the developers of the game. He passed away in 2019. In August of 2013, Swarf, the lead program developer, posted his goodbye on the zOMG recruiting forum. His farewell post said, "I didn't have the chance to write a book goodbye earlier. Today was my last day as a dev at Gaia. Gaia gave me the chance to work on something far more important than a game or website. I was introduced to a community of amazing people. You've given me a passion for making games and a desire to foster community. I want to always be doing something meaningful in people's lives like Gaia has been. zOMG has been my baby for a long time, and it's what I'll miss working on the most." With Swarf leaving, the community lost not only a lead developer for the game, but a pirate on the inside, as a voice for the community. Swarf's last post was in the Dev Meets thread in 2015, and he has since moved on to Amazon Games. In September of 2013, Bronstad, the mission designer, posted his farewell, saying, "Over the last 4 years, I've come to know our community as friends. These last few weeks have been the hardest of my life. I have been simultaneously excited for the future, desperate not to leave things unfinished, and forlorn about the present I have chosen to give up. I will miss zOMG and those of you who play, post, and PM every day. I can no longer be a developer, but I will always be a Gaian." Ronstad's last post was also in 2014 in a Best Memory contest, stating, "I want to send a heartfelt thank you to the zOMG community. Perhaps we did not achieve all that we set out to do, but when I look back, I can see we, the dev team and the community together, created something really damn special." Ronstad has since moved on to Obsidian Entertainment. In 2013, the game went into maintenance mode, and by 2014, zOMG was taken off of Gaia due to hardware and engineering limitations, after attempting to perform critical repairs to the game servers. Understandably, the community was very upset with this decision, and Gaia HQ. In 2015, Flash had exploit packs that were pushed out and threatened people's computers. In November of 2015, Halsey, a programming team member, posted his goodbye, saying, "I have very fond memories of working on this project and of the great interactions with the community." This was his last post in the forums I was able to find. I was also unable to find further information on where Halsey moved on to after Gaia. In 2016, Lancer came back to Gaia. However, all of the zOMG devs were gone at that point. Gaia never regained the devs it once had for the game. In 2017, the game came back to the site after Lancer received some help from Swarf. However, Adobe announced it would cease development and support for Flash altogether within 3 years. In 2020, Flash was gone. This caused Gaia's games, including zOMG, to stop working. Currently, zOMG is available as a downloadable game on Gaia's website and runs through Ruffle, which is a Flash emulator on the site as well. Now that I've been caught up on the history of the game, I wanted to know what the devs were like when the game was in its heyday. Looking through the past community posts, the devs had a friendly and unique relationship with the players of zOMG. Bronstad once said, "I'd like it to be known that I'm a ninja, can fly, and am the most amazing person on the face of the earth." I said I'd like it to be known, not that it was true. Really, I'm just a normal, if not nerdy, guy with a decent imagination and a good sense for what makes a game fun. Gaia9, another developer, introduced himself in a community post by saying, "I do all the PHP side of the game, talks to the database code for zOMG. I've been here on Gaia forever, coming up on 5 years next month, and I've had a hand in just about every feature at one time or another. I'm not really on the front lines of game development, but I'm there, just out of the corner of your eye, cowering in the shadows. I pretend to be antisocial, hiding in a cave of darkness with one of those movie-style command centers to make sure things stay up and running. Think of me as the operator, except I don't have bullet holes in my screens." I was unable to find posts for Gaia9 that were more recent than 2010. Halsey responded to a user who asked, "Will Gaia ever shut down, as in vanish?" by saying, "It does. Every night at 23:59:59. And it comes back at 00:00:00. In a post about the ring system before the game came out, Flagier responded to an upset user saying, "I wish I could tell you we will change it. But at this point we are too far along in the design dev process to change it. But who knows what may happen in the future. For now we are working hard and trying our best to get the game out, and not have you wait another 4 years." When the user came back about wanting weapons instead of rings again, he posted, "I can't make that promise, and it is not mine to make. You may all be bitching about the ring system, and it's your right. But many good ideas and suggestions came out of it. Just try to make your suggestions more constructive in the future." Swarf had a fan thread that he would interact with the community on. In one post from 2012, he responded to a player who did mock-ups for an SD doll, saying, "That's awesome. Ah, really want one too. I love the Swarf with rum." He also commented on concerns users had with Buccaneer Boardwalk's release in zOMG by saying, "I feel your frustration in all of this. Believe me, I really do. It's been a rough week for me, and for several other people because of me. And I'm working to earn back trust, both in the community and in the company. And there's a really strong sense all around the company of wanting honesty in what we do and being willing to earn trust where it's been hurt. So hold tight. We're trying to patch things up, and I'm hopeful that something good is going to come out of all of this. From all of his posts, and yes, I looked through everything that I could find, Swarf really seemed to care about the game and the community. The community also seems to really love Swarf. JK was the founder of DevMeat and engaged with the community a ton. In one post regarding the Halloween event and Jack, JK said, "Actually, Jack lays pumpkins. Sure looks painful, but I think he enjoys it." Mavdoc's posts outside of his DevMeat thread were lost to time and server migrations. However, he actively engaged with the community by continuing to do DevMeat when JK passed away. He also ran the Meets Discord and would talk to people via private message. We personally spoke about the lizard that lived in his apartment, Cam being stuck on a pole during a green room run, and cool places to see around the United States. With Mavdoc's passing, Moonshoe, a forum assistant, now hosts Death Meets, and Lanzer shows up to engage with the community when he's able to do so. With most of the engagement with the user base in the past, I reached out to some of the current users of zOMG for this video to learn more about their experiences in the game.
From the current users.
I asked the current players about playability, the best thing about the game, improvements that can be made, issues within the game, a favorite memory, and what they would like to see if the game is ever fully revived and expanded via a Google form. I received some great responses. The average playability for the game is a 4 out of 5. I personally currently run on Battle Air or zOMG Player, which is their downloadable application, and with user-made fixes, it runs really smooth. What issues do you currently face when playing zOMG? I'm Lexi Lou answered this question saying, "I'm frustrated at the level of playability currently in zOMG, where I am needing to go in and change files in the Battle Air application. I think this is very frustrating, and I actually haven't changed my files yet. There's also issues with lag when moving between screens and jumping to other areas." Saranthia responded, "Other than the obvious functionality flaws in the beta versions we've had, an issue that I have with it is the feeling like the game can be taken away from me at any moment. Whether it be server maintenance every start of the weekend, or realizing that zOMG may not be high on the ladder of priority for the staff at Gaia Online. I was so thrilled when it came back, and to also be a part of a server with people who still played. Now there are so many problems reported weekly, and I'm scared to think of when the staff who work on this game will reach a tipping point." What do you think is the best thing about zOMG, and why? Phoenix of the Dam stated, "The game's balanced equipment system is the best thing about zOMG. I've been playing MMOs for 20 years, and no MMO or other RPG has ever come close to achieving the level of balance that zOMG has. This balance allows not just for various equipment strategies, but for also nearly all content in the game to be viable at various points." Dark Magician Girl responded, "Bumping into someone randomly and starting unplanned adventures. It's interesting, fun, and not often you'll find the ability to connect with new people online like this nowadays." What is one thing you think could improve in zOMG? Proletariat Porno says, "One thing that could be improved is making things less sticky. Also, fixing the gumshoe ring so it taunts properly would help a lot." Gother Salvatore also responded saying, "I wish Whisper and clan chat was fixed." Whisper worked back then until the game had been moved to the battle layer program. Never have I ever been able to use clan chat, and I had been on the game since 2012. What is your favorite zOMG memory? And Lexi Lee responded with, my boyfriend and I on zOMG would sit and have dates on the cliffs at Otami ruins. Phoenix of the Dam said, logging in to receive the integrity ring for the first time. I was standing somewhere in Gold Beach when I opened my inventory to find the gift I wasn't expecting. And Chelsea Chi stated, finally coming back and beating the main storyline. If zOMG was fully revived and you could expand it further, what would you add to the game? Familiar Jeff said, new areas, new rings, new events weekly. Gothor Salvatore responded, a fart ring that releases a cloud of toxic gas, knocking back enemies in his AoE, effectively working like fire rains damage and dervishes knockback. With all that said, did you learn anything new about Gaia or zOMG that you didn't know before? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. And if you don't feel like telling me that, leave a comment with the word juice. We'd like to see more YouTube content about zOMG. Please give this video a like, comment, and a share. A link to Gaia is in the description below if you'd like to join me on my zOMG adventures. Thank you to Familiar Jeff and Smell You Later who helped me circulate the forum and the Kamala and Fire servers, as well as Gothor Salvatore, Phoenix of the Damned, Chelsea Chi, I'm Lexi Lou, Familiar Jeff, Proletariat Porno, Dwarf Magician Girl, and Saranthio who responded to my forum. Thank you to Lancer for keeping Gaia alive while I did hours, weeks worth really, of research for this video. Thank you to Reb Raptor, Gothor Salvatore, Genesis, Harris, and Jamilier Jeff, who helped me with my research and read through parts of the script I sent them for editing. I couldn't have made this video without your help. And thank you all for watching. Have a great day, stay safe, and be kind to each other. I'll see you all next time. Bye!